What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to Jalen Talk Sports. Or welcome to. Make sure you like, subscribe, and join the fam. This is gonna be my first video talking about football or soccer, depending on where you are in the world. And when I do speak on football, it's only gonna be Chelsea. So if you're a Chelsea fan, make sure you subscribe so you can stay tuned for that type of content. And if you want to learn more about football, like you can watch the channel. If you're just a Chelsea fan and you want to learn about some other sports, also subscribe. But yeah, let's talk about this match preview for our game with Liverpool on Saturday. So our injury report slash suspension list. So Cole's out, Andre Santos is out, West Fafana is out, Trev's out with the suspension from the last game, and then you have Tosin who's injured and Liam. I didn't put Usugo and Levi Colwell because they're out for an extended period of time, whereas these guys are just out for a shorter amount of time and they'll be returning to the lineup soon. So tactics and formation. I think it's essential for us to line up with this specific lineup on Saturday. You have Ja Pedro in the striker position with Esteval and the cam. And then you have Garnacho on the left, Neto on the right, Fernandez in the midfield with Caicedo and Cucurella at left back, Badiashile at left center back, a Champong at right center back, and Reece James at right back, and then Robert Sanchez in goal. So why did I choose this lineup, especially some specific players? So there could be one tweak to this where Caicedo would go to the left here and Reece James would play in that Caicedo spot and then Gusto starts because there's a chance that Enzo doesn't play on the weekend. But if he does, I will start him. And then adding Badiashile and Chimpong as our pivot in the center back position. I use Badiashile and Chimpong because they're our only options. Unfortunately, they are our only options. Colwell's injured, Travis suspended, and then Tosin and Wes are both hurt. So you're left with Badiashile and a Champong as your only two options unless you want to play people out of position. Badiashile did well in the game against Benfica on Tuesday. So the only thing you can do with that performance is give him another chance to prove that he deserves to play. As of right now, Badiashile is our only left-footed center back on the team outside of Hato, but Hato is really a fullback who can play center back. So your pure center back option for the left side is Badiashile right now. And if he can keep up the good form, I think you should start him because he's comfortable on that side. A Champong, he deserves chances, if that makes sense. He played match week one, and then ever since then, it's been very sparing. Maresca hasn't really given him a shot. And I think right now he could be the answer, or he could just be a really solid solution until we find that right guy. Because I think as good as Wes is, and as good as Tosin can be, and as good as Trev can be, none of them are none of them are a center back one. And that's me bringing the American football side into it, where it's like, think of these guys as your cornerbacks. And if you don't trust a guy in coverage, you don't want him out there. You want that guy who could be the pinnacle of the position. So when you look at Liverpool, they have a guy like Virgil van Dijk being their CB1. So that would be your center back one in football. And I think Levi is growing into that, but we need to sign a guy who is that right now. And that could possibly become a Champong over time. But as of right now, he's still developing, he's still young, and he's not there yet. But the more opportunity you give him, the better he'll get, and the more solid and confident he'll become, where you can trust him against big teams. In this case, we are playing a big team, and he's the only option. So it's up to the coach to really trust his player in that situation. Then Reese and Cucurella, I think these guys are shoe-ins. Every week, if they are healthy, if you can play them, start them. They are lineup locks, if that makes sense. Them, Cole Palmer, and Caicedo. Those are the four guys I need on the pitch every time we step on the field. And then Cole will if he's healthy. And then, yeah, so that's why I said they need to play. Cucurella is extremely important in this game because we're playing Mo Salah. And that's also another reason why Baggio is good on the left side today. Because out of the center backs that are available, he's the more experienced player. And I rather trust experience than sometimes talent. Baggio, if he can do the right things, if he can limit mistakes, he can be of great assistance to Cucurella on that left side in stopping Mo Salah from cooking us again. Because every time he plays us, he scores, especially at the bridge. And then we look at the midfield. Fernandez, Caicedo. Will Enzo regain his form? That's sort of an issue. But we don't really have much choice outside of Enzo unless you dig into the academy. And, because Isugo's hurt, Lavia's hurt, and Andre Santos is hurt as well. So your only option is Fernandez and Caicedo. They are your best two options, anyways. They are your best two on their day. So if Enzo's able to do what we know he's capable of doing, controlling the midfield, making the right passes, making the right tackles, being a leader on the pitch for the guys at the front. Because, Reese is the leader of the back, I guess you can say. And Enzo is the leader of everything going forward. So Enzo needs to be solid. He needs to regain that form. He needs to be the player we know he can be. Caicedo, every time he goes out there, he puts a good performance. I trust him. He is the rock. He is the foundation of the team. If you don't have Caicedo, I worry. If you do have Caicedo, I'm a little less worried. But playing a team like Liverpool, you need those two to be on their A game. Then I put Esteval in the camp. And some people may like, you could play Reese in the midfield and put Fernandez in the cam and Gusto at the right back. I'm not doing that. Every time I see Esteval play, I get excited because he brings that creative juice to the team that not many players can provide us with. You look at Palmer, and they're different in the sense that Esteval is more of a dribbler and Palmer is more of a playmaker. But Esteval can do a lot of the things Cole can do. It's just getting it at a consistent rate. Esteval does well at getting through defenders, making correct runs, but then when it comes to making that decisive play as to pass to Neto or Garnacho or João Pedro, sometimes he misses in that aspect. Can he get that right today? Well, on Saturday. Can he get that right? Then Neto. Neto has been improving. As of late, he started the season a little rough, but once he regains that consistency in his game, I don't think we're ever gonna see Club World Cup Pedro Neto ever again. That was kind of a fever dream to me because I didn't think he was really that good. And then he just kept doing it, and he kept doing it, and he kept doing it. And then the season started, and he just fell, just fell, just fell. So as he gets back into that rhythm, in basketball, a lot of times they say, you have a rhythm shooter. Once they, knock down one shot, and they keep going. Once you get Neto firing and getting in the right positions and taking the shots he needs to take and sometimes scoring them, then that confidence comes back. That consistency in his game comes back. The reason why we spent so much money on him will make sense. And then Garnacho. You have Garnacho or you have Gittins or George, but they don't really play George in the wing position now. So you have Garnacho, you have Gittins. I want you to look at me in the camera, and say, who are you starting, Garnacho or Gittins? I say Sam Gittins back to Dortmund, bro. Cause I feel like I've been scammed. I feel like I feel like I've been thrown to the side. They spent their money on this guy, and I'm like, yeah, he's young. He's older than me, but he's young and he's struggling. And I look at it, I'm like, what did you expect him to do? I watched enough highlights. I watched enough, and I was like, I don't know if this works. I don't think this can be consistent. And since he's got here, he hasn't given me nothing, bro. Nothing. Garnacho, I know what he's capable of doing. He just needs a shot to actually do it. And, like if he underperforms, you take him out the game. You say, okay, next week I'm not starting you. But if you don't give him the proper opportunity to perform, he's easily performing way better than Gans has been performing in their performances. You realize that Garnacho is our best option in the left wing position as of right now. And then JP up top, João Pedro. And he regained what he started his Chelsea career with. It's tough because he started off firing, and most players never reach that type of form. Scoring every game, being a threat aerially. I think he really enjoyed having Cole Palmer on the pitch. Can there be synergy between these two Brazilians up top? We don't know. But, we just need João Pedro to stay disciplined and make the right plays and take the shots when they are there. I think Chelsea's problem oftentimes is the lack of aggression. And I'll talk about that as I briefly mentioned Liverpool. So Liverpool runs a 4-2-4, meaning they have two midfield players and they have like four attacking guys and four defensive players. The two defensive players being the wing backs and Frimpong, Connor Bradley, Andy Robertson, or Milos Kerkez. Those guys kind of overlap with the wingers being Gakpo and Salah. So that's where you sustain the pressure and that's where you can make mistakes. And it's really vital for Cucurella and Reese to ease the pressure off of Chempong and Badiashile because if they break you down the wing, I don't trust the center backs to be able to deal with a guy like Isak. And then, Sanchez. Sanchez. Unless he plays like he did against PSG, I have all cause to worry we need to sign a goalkeeper. Anyways, they kind of do this thing. It's called a gegenpress. I don't know if it's as emphasized as it was when they had Klopp, but basically what it does is they send high pressure. So say Esteban has the ball, then they're gonna come at Esteban. Then he swings it to Neto. They're gonna go at Neto. It's like two guys, two guys, two guys, two guys, two guys. So basically, what you have to do, I'm gonna speak on it now. Yeah, limiting mistakes. So catching their defensive scheme, you have to limit your mistakes because once you make that mistake, they exploit it. That's how Liverpool can beat you. The gegenpress is meant to send consistent pressure at players with the goal of taking the ball off of them. So then when you get the ball, then everyone has to transition back to defense, saying we were all in the offensive position. And then you leave a player isolated, you get a guy in a bad situation where they have to flip their hips, and that's when you get scored on because you're not prepared for the attack. So, limiting mistakes is essential. Another thing is not fouling. That goes hand in hand. These three on the top very much go hand in hand. Um, Not fouling. We've had three straight games basically with a red card, excluding the game against Lincoln. You need to be disciplined on the pitch because with a team with so many injured players, the more injuries you have, the more suspended players you have, the more susceptible you are to losing points in these games. So it's essential for us as a team to stop getting these red cards and making these stupid challenges. Sometimes it's okay to just let the goal happen because you need to rely on your attacking mindset. Oftentimes, the problem that people have with Maresca's football is it's too conservative. Too much passing, 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 passing back, passing middle, passing side to side, and not passing forward. They need to pass forward. They need to get into the Liverpool defense. Outside of Van Dijk, that defense isn't that threatening. If you can break them down, you can possibly win this game. Simple as that. But if we do foul, if we do get a red card, I want Enzo Maresca to have a real backup plan. You're not going to win games by putting extra defenders on the pitch unless you absolutely have to, right? Don't park the bus. Keep flying, essentially. If Who's an example? If Josh gets a red card, do not go and take off Esteval and Pedro Neto and throw Hato in. And then you throw who else can play defense? Jeez. Who else would be on the bench? I don't know. Some random academy kid that might be on the bench in this game. Do not do that. Put on one defender for one attacker, but don't take off too many attackers because then you leave people like João Pedro isolated, and he needs other players around him for him to be successful. That's why he was so good at the start of the season. But when you have a Manchester United situation where you take off Esteval, then you take off João Pedro, and then you take off Cole Palmer because he gets hurt, and you don't put any more attacking players on, you left him by himself. No player is good enough to just be by themselves. It's a team sport. You need supporting pieces. But if you don't have a backup plan, you will lose this game. If your tactic is not working at the start of the game, flip it at halftime. Say, we got to try this, right? But don't give up on the game until it's completely out of reach. Yeah, so that's my plan for how to beat Liverpool. I hope you enjoyed the video. I hope you liked the content. Let me know what you think we should do for us to be able to win the game. And I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace out.